Elderflower is kind of a poster child for syrups, teas, and late spring. But apart from that, there are various other things related to it deep inside the history, its uses, and folklore. So let's dive into identification, way how you can find and use this plant, but also its mysterious and some would even say more evil, sinister side. What we are talking about here is European black elder, because, well, I am in Europe and I cannot that easily teleport to US, but there is a very similar cousin, American black elder, that you can find in, you guessed it, North America. Well, some parts of it. There is also red elder that you can find in some other parts. Specifically, when it comes to black elder, both European and American one, they are pretty much almost the same. Visually, when it comes to identification, you have these pinnate tooth leaves, you have the same kind of flowers, same looking white umbels, same smell, even same uses. The main difference is the American one is around few meters tall max, and European can go up to 5 to 6 meters, maybe sometimes even more. So might not be too easy to get the European one every time, which can be a good thing because people usually pick the things they can reach. So there is always some surviving and being left to turn into berries and seeds later on. It prefers to grow on forest edges. It prefers quality soils, but it can tolerate dry as well as more moist kind of terrains. And it needs sunshine, so you won't really find it somewhere in the deep shades. I would say roadsides are the best bet. Of course, I recommend the small paths where no vehicles come through, contrary to the roadsides near actual roads with traffic. Everything that you see on this side, that is something called ground elder. The reason behind it is because it looks similar at first. So ground elder and actual elder over here, they are not related at all. As the name says, firstly, the ground one comes out from the ground. It's the member of the carrot family, and this has nothing to do with carrots, so to speak. There are all kinds of things you can make with elderflower, and many traditions and regions make use of it, mostly for teas and syrups. Here where I am from, it's mostly about syrups, but you can make really a lot of things from it. You can make some huge, beetles are flying around me, liquors, different types of drinks, even some cosmetics. It's been historically used, and some people still use it to treat the skin, to make it more clear. Elderflower has been used to treat coughs, aching throats, fever-related ailments, common colds. But be very careful with this, because this is just how it was traditionally used, and I'm not in any way suggesting you should treat your colds like this or only with this. Just some interesting bits and pieces from history here. And I am going to make one of those things. I'm going to make a tea and a syrup later on, but tea comes first. The smell of these flowers is quite specific. Some people say it reminds them of cat pee, which is interesting. To me, it's just this very, very sweet kind of flowery scent, if that makes any sense to you. However, I got some pollen on my nose. The leaves are a different story. And if I take the leaf and rub it a bit, there's this really kind of cat pee scent to it. And there is probably a reason for it, because all other parts of this plant are toxic. And it's not something you really want to consume. So I guess this is nature telling you, maybe you shouldn't consume something smelling like cat pee, probably. Traditionally, this plant was seen as kind of a threshold plant. So the lore behind it is not all butterflies and rainbows. It's a kind of dualistic plant, if you wish. It has both good and evil side, and they are pretty much close to each other. This probably mostly refers to the whole plant being toxic apart from the elderflowers and berries later on when they are thermically treated properly. But there is also one other thing. Various cultures thought that spirits live inside the elder tree. One of the reasons is probably because the entire tree is quite almost hollow. It's actually filled with this very soft part that's easily removed. That made it kind of a go-to tree if you want to make a flute, for example. But also it made various cultures believe that some spirits live inside and that those hollows, those empty parts, could bring you to the underworld. It was also believed that Elder Mother inhabited the tree, and if you wanted to cut it or do anything with it, you firstly had to ask permission from the Elder Mother spirit to let you do all those things. So the lore does not end there, because it said that if you burn elder tree ever, you are inviting bad luck. One of the guesses why is it so is the tree, when it's burnt, it actually gives a lot of sparks. And just because of this soft and moist part inside, its sap, it makes sound when it's burnt. And to some, it may sound even like kind of screaming. So I guess medieval and people before, if they dropped the elder branches inside the fire and saw sparkles flying around and heard screams, they wouldn't really think it's a, good spirit. They would probably link it to something bad. And one also interesting thing is there's a special type of mushroom that grows only on dying or dead elder trees. Well, mostly it can grow somewhere else, but it really prefers the elder tree, and it is the jelly ear fungus. I made a short video about it and you can find it here. I will also link it in the description, and one day I may cover it a bit more thoroughly. But really, when you see this jelly ear, you can pretty much understand at once why is it called jelly ear. Oh, got distracted there. Let's go make some tea. First thing you want to do is to soak flowers a bit, because various kinds of dirt and critters can live or simply be present on the flowers themselves. After that is done, you will want to use flowers only. Be very careful not to take pieces of the stem, because there are some toxic, bitter compounds inside. You can make tea both from fresh and from dry flowers. Of course, since I want to make this today, I'm going to go on the fresh route. If you see these tiny pieces of stem still sticking to the leaves, you may want to remove them if they are big enough, but otherwise, if they are really tiny, you may want to just ignore them. In this case, they won't really harm you in any significant way. While I am doing this, I will mention how syrup is traditionally made here in the Balkans, and I guess not only the Balkans, but maybe some details vary through regions, microregions, and even family traditions, but here is the most common kind. First, you prepare water and add a big amount of sugar in it. Sugar is the reason why many people would see this as unhealthy these days, but this is how it's traditionally made. You would boil it a bit until it melts, although some people prefer to skip this step. You would then add a tiny amount of citric acid. Many people also add lemon slices. You then add flowers in this liquid, stir it up and let it sit for around 24 hours. Once it's all set, you will keep that in the fridge. If not opened, I think it could be good for up to 1 year. If opened, you may want to consume it a bit quicker. Most of the time it's so refreshing and sweet, especially if you have children in the house or something, it will surely go away, I guess, very fast. And we got all ready here, all the goodies in this small infusion cup. As with all infusions, you will put boiling water over this, and in a few minutes you will have a tasty tea.